What's better than pulled pork? Pulled pork on the smoker.
First we have to season our meat, and the meat we have chosen today is a big 4.5 kilo Boston butt bone-in. The skin has been trimmed off and is left with a nice fat cap, but I'm going to leave that because we're going to cook it low and slow, so we have time to render that. That will give some nice juiciness to our meat. For the rub, we are going with a store-bought rub today, which is from Not Just Barbecue, their Texas steakhouse rub that we're going to try out. It smells good, definitely. It has some paprika, some cilantro, pepper, chili. I didn't read the whole list, but it smells nice.
Garlic, onion, the usual suspects.
Of course. So we're going to give this a nice heavy coating on all sides because it is a big boy, this one, so we're definitely not going to be stingy. Let me get it up. There we have the bone, and that actually not only gives flavor, but it also works as a heat conductor that brings heat into the meat so it cooks more evenly actually. So always get it bone in if you can. That is nice and coated and a beautiful color, and it smells good, that rub, so I really look forward to this. Now we let that sweat so the rub adheres, and then we're going to start our fire. We have the fire basket in our ProQ smoker here set up with briquettes all around the edge. These are olive pip briquettes, which gives very, very long retention. You can cook for 12-16 hours with this, so it's really, really good briquettes. What we're going to do is, we have a fire starter here, a chimney starter with lit briquettes. We're going to dump in the middle, like that. And then we're going to open the vents to, let's say, about half an hour until we get the smoker up to temperature. Do that, about half. And then we're going to put on the first tier here with the grill grates, like that. I have in here a 6mm steel plate, a plancha. I prefer that over the water pan. The smokers, they come with a water pan like this, so you can fill it up with water above the fire, and that supposedly makes it easier to control temperature. That might be true, but I feel that it takes away some of the smoke flavor. It ties to the steam. So even though this is a little bit more involved to control, I prefer it. And then we put on the grates that we're going to cook on. And finally, we're going to put on the lid. And here we keep the vent fully open throughout the cook. And now we just have to wait for this to come up to temperature. We have the smoker now running at 124 degrees. I've put a temperature probe here below the grate level because these dome thermometers, you cannot trust them. Now we're going to open it up and we're going to put in our beautiful pork butt. It looks fantastic. Straight in the center here. And then we're going to put on our top lid. I have closed the bottom vents. They're just a smidge open, all three of them. And then I'll let it climb in temperature to about 130 to 140. But now we want to add some smoke wood. And here I'm using chunks of French oak, which comes from a wine barrel.
Hey, that's our barrel.
Yeah, this is our barrel. This is one of the staffs, and there are like, I don't know, 30 around or something like that. And when you buy bags like this is chunks from whiskey barrels. A bag like this costs you 15 euros here in Europe.
Wow.
And we paid 80 euros for a whole barrel, and one staff gives us a whole bag, so this is quite...
We're gonna have like it for a decade now.
Absolutely. So I'm just gonna open here and place it straight in to my charcoal, so we start getting some smoke. I'll show you when it starts coming. And then we let it go there at least a couple of hours before we check in on it. I'm not putting a thermometer in the meat yet because I know this is gonna take quite some hours. 2 hours in, let's take a look and see how we're doing. Ooh, that looks really good.
Smells really nice.
And as I mentioned, I had let the temperature rise up to around 140, and it looks really good, nice coloring. Let me give a reading here on the temperature, see where we are.
Schmucky.
We are coming up at 50 degrees internal here. Yeah, okay, 40 down here in the absolute center. That's okay. I thought I might want to spritz this with some apple cider vinegar and water, but I'm not going to do that because it's still quite moist and juicy, so we're not going to do that. We are simply gonna cover it up and then we're gonna let it go, and then we will check in about an hour or so. And just to mention it, in the meantime I did add 2 chunks of smoke wood as we went along. When the smoke subsides here, give it another chunk. Our meat is coming up to temperature, so let's prepare our braising liquid / barbecue sauce, because it's somewhere in between. We start out with 2 beers. This is Pilsner. You could use a stout if you wanted a dark beer. That depends on what flavor you're going for, but I like these slightly bitter Greek Mamos. And we continue with 330 milliliter of apple cider vinegar, unfiltered. About 4 tablespoons of ketchup manis, which is a sweet, thick soy sauce. That's going to give us a little bit of sweetness. We don't want this to become too sweet. What is this, 2 tablespoons?
3.
3 tablespoons of our barbecue rub. That's where we're going to get our spices from.
And we go with the same flavor,
Exactly.
obviously.
Some knobs of ginger. What's here, 6 small pieces. They go straight in. I will filter them out at the end. And 4 to 5 leaves of laurel. They go in, and then we bring this up to a simmer and give it a good mix. So let's see. This looks really good.
Ooh.
Let's see where we are. 72, 73.
Perfect.
In the biggest part here. That's perfect. Then I'm calling it. Now it's time to wrap it. So let's get this out of here. And here's a little trick here. Insulation gloves and then nitrile gloves, because this one you cannot handle with tools. So that goes out of here and into a roasting pan here. And look the beautiful bark we built here. That we definitely don't want to destroy. That's so good. Now we take our braising liquid and we're gonna fill that in the bottom. We don't want to pour it over the meat because that will definitely destroy our bark. So like this. I think I can give this a go with a pot here. Yeah. I think we put it all, huh?
Put it on and then we see if we need more during the process. We add extra beer or vinegar.
Last time we did have to do that. And now we're gonna give it some foil.
Wrap it good.
Wrap it tightly, yeah. I'm gonna do it already here. It rips easy on the corners here, so I will. Unfortunately, we can't get that nice thick aluminium foil you can get in the States, so.
Neither the good membrane.
No.
You are lucky, guys. In the States, you get really thick quality.
That's true.
There is more hole on that side.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna cover it one more time.
Yes.
Don't worry. And seal it tight here around the edges, because we want now to continue cooking in a closed environment. And back on the smoker, right there, and close it up. Now we're gonna let that go for a couple of hours.
Yeah, we need mid-90s to reach
mid-90s core temperature until it feels like butter with the thermometer. I'm gonna crank up the temperature of 15-20 degrees, maybe to 160, because now it's protected. So let's see how we're doing here. Let me get off the lid. We have been monitoring temperature, obviously, but let me see where we are now. Ooh. And the feel, that's what you're going for here. It's like, look, it's like butter. That was the bone, sorry, but look, it's just crazy, crazy soft. If you're interested in the reading here, we are registering 94. Over here, we are at 96, but it's really the feel that you're going for. This is definitely done, and it smells very much like pulled pork. Now we're gonna take it out, and we're gonna let it rest for an hour or so that we cool down a little bit to a temperature where we can shred it.
Ready to unveil?
Absolutely, and it smells already good. So let's get this off and see how it looks. Wow, I wrapped this tight.
Yeah, I can see that.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, that looks majestic.
Well, that just looks gorgeous. Look here with a little turn, how beautiful. What a bark we got on this. It's really, really beautiful. Of course, the bark got a little bit soft because of the wrapping, but that doesn't matter. Let's try and pull a little bit of this here from the fatty side. Wow, this is just completely so juicy. Let me pull a little bit more here. This is like, wow, that's beautiful.
And I like we have plenty of juices there
Yeah,
to mix it up after.
Oh, but that's the beautiful thing about that barbecue sauce / braising liquid, whatever you want to call
Wow,
it.
it's very, very smoky.
Yeah, it is. And let me get some of this.
A little bit.
So, so I can do a taste test here. Oh, it looks so good and so juicy. I want some of the bark also here. See, that's the bite you want. Some bark, some of the juicy meat from the inside.
Get the honor.
That's absolutely fantastic. It is so juicy. And the barbecue rub fits perfectly on this Boston butt here. Excellent. And comparing to the one we did in the oven.
Yeah, I was curious actually, which one tastes better?
I'm voting for this. This is better.
Because it's more smoky or?
It has more smoke flavor. It's also actually more juicy, but that can of course be because of the cut. This was a Boston butt. When we did the one in the oven, it was a pork neck. But still, this is so damn good.